about this. When Nazi Germany was the world superpower that tried to take over the world, France and Napoleon tried to take over the world, Great Britain tried to take over the world, Islam has tried to take over the world. We are the world's lone superpower. We have not taken over Canada. Right? It's not like we can't. We've got the greatest military in the history of the world. They've got what? Like they've got Celine Dion. Of course we are not imperialists, but it doesn't matter to the left that we're not imperialists. There has to be something other than our exceptionalism that explains it, because truth, fact, reason, logic, and evidence are not employed by the Democrat, by the modern liberal, the dominant force in today's Democrat Party. By the way, I am not the only one to have noticed this. It is Howard Zinn. Howard Zinn, the leftist author of the most assigned text on American history. The book that our children, or you guys, probably learned about our history from, who said that objective truth, objective facts, objectivity is undesirable. It's undesirable if you seek to have history support a political agenda. I'm misquoting him slightly, but get the gist. That was me paraphrasing to my best. But objective truth is undesirable if history should serve a social purpose. And what is that social purpose? To show that good isn't good and evil isn't evil, right isn't right and wrong isn't wrong. The behaviors that lead to failure aren't bad, the ones that lead to success aren't good. And by the way, it is for this reason that any time you see an anti-America rally masquerading as an anti-war rally, hand in hand with those who are trying to undermine America's defense, are those who are screaming hatred against the Jews of Israel. Jew hatred is as endemic to modern liberalism, de facto, to the multiculturalist as is America hatred, for exactly the same reason. How do you explain the history of the Jews? How do you explain that these people have survived with their culture intact longer than any other civilization in human history? How do you explain that anywhere where the Jew lives, and because of the diaspora, he lives all over, in any time, in any place, so long as he is not being murdered, he tends to thrive? How do you explain that, just as it says in the Bible, that any nation that treats its Jews well will do well? Any nation that treats its Jews poorly will do poorly, like the Arab and Muslim world today? How do you explain that the nation that treats the Jews better than any other nation in the history of the world, America, is the best and most successful nation in the history of the world? And finally, how do you explain the miracle of this tiny dot of desert in the Middle East that had been administered by the Arabs and the Muslims for millennia, accomplishing nothing? Almost instantly upon the return of the Jews and Jewish administration, becomes a first world economy with a thriving symphony orchestra and Nobel Prize winning physicists and cutting edge technologies. How do you explain this? There are only two possibilities. Either there is something exceptional about the Jewish culture, something about the Ten Commandments, something about the Torah and the Talmud that fosters success, or there is nothing special about the Jews, and therefore their success is unjust. And again, the duration and magnitude of the success proves that it has to be chicanery.